right. Welcome back to another episode of the Science of Farming podcast. We are so happy to have you all join us. Can't wait for our family to continue to come on in here. So I'll open up as usual in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We are so excited to be back for another episode. As I said, Sister Melody, how are you feeling today?
Oh, girl, I'm excited. I did a lot of, outdoor work today, painting and, starting to, get the soil together and everything, but I'm good. How you feeling, sis?
I am feeling wonderful. I love this time of year. We get to see everything sprouting and growing. So it's so much fun to watch everything, the new life start and to be able to nourish and feed our own selves. And speaking of that, that is the purpose of our show. To do what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has asked us to do, which is to grow our own food. And he's asked us to do that for a long time. So I think a lot that we have an opportunity on this platform to encourage others to do that. So I'm really excited about it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Spring planting. This is a very good time to, especially if you're in zone 9, we already have started putting things in the ground because it's much warmer here. And then Sister Melody will talk about a different time to start putting things in the ground where in the zone that she's in. So I see our family is coming in. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you all so much for joining us. And at one point, those who are joining us, I am going to ask you to put what you're growing or what you would like to grow in the chat. And we're going to talk about it at the end and highlight you all, okay, and shout you all out. So, Sister Melody, you want to go ahead and get started with this spring planting?
Yes, ma'am.
Water and compost, right?
Yes. So, the zone on the East Coast, as you know, is like 7A and 8. So we are not physically, like tonight it's going to be 32 degrees.
What?
So I hope and pray that the people on the East Coast haven't put they delicate plants outside yet, because what we want to do, Sister Rashida, is we already, remind people to wait until the soil's at least 40 degrees in terms of the temperature, because then you will lose your plants. And we don't want people, and it is as much as you want on them 90 days to go outside and take your plants. We can't. It's cold. You see, I have on a sweatshirt, and this morning I had on a jacket and a sweatshirt. So it's still chilly, and I'm even further south than I was, a few days ago, and it's still cold. So we have to be mindful that climate change has affected all of us. So I personally, again, Mother's Day is so, such to me is, it's a reason must be why they say to plant on Mother's Day, at least on the East Coast. So that's when normally we would go and take our plants outside. And even if you're going to do direct seed, hopefully you already have some seedlings and not have to do direct seed starting in May. Because Sister Rashida, what happens when we do direct seed in May, unfortunately, our plants don't get as big as they can get.
Right.
They've already been started, at least indoors.
Right. It's definitely too late to get those started that time. And plus, if you're down south here, it can burn up because that sun, when it comes nice and strong. So yes, ma'am. I wanted to talk a little bit about soil. I know you are a huge proponent of composting.
Yes.
So talk about your
1 second. I'm gonna tell you about that. 1 second.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Wa alaikum salam to our family who's joining us. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope that you get inspired to put something in the ground or something in a pot and grow this year. We're really excited. I was sharing with Sister Melody before we went live that we do have some sisters that have been telling me what they're growing. here where we are. So I'm really excited about that. But Sister Melody, yes, jump in about the compost.
Okay, so yes, ma'am. Of course, I've been composting for years.
Right.
Vermicomposting is a little different than regular composting when you take in your food scraps and just putting them aside, nothing greasy and nothing messy. But I want to remind people that when you're starting off plants, please, please, please get potting soil first. Do not go out and get this, thinking you could just grab the soil from outside. Because what I've been doing the last couple of weeks is, again, I've been sifting my soil. If I have soil from last year, I'm not saying go out and buy new soil, but if you have to do planting in pots, you want to use potting soil,
Mm-hmm.
something that's light and something that's fluffy, because your plants want to be able to move. They don't want to sit in compact soil. So that's why I've been sifting my soil from, I'm changing pots and moving them from pot to pot, especially those perennials. So I did share a few pictures and I explain them as we go. But please, please, if you're going out there and you want to get some soil and you think it's good and it's compost, sift it. Use something. Again, I showed in a video from the dollar store. It's a little, airy, I want to say basket, and put
Mm-hmm.
that all in it and just sift it. Sift it like you were sifting flour or something like that. But shake it up and make sure your soil is good, because that's the sun, soil. You want to put your plants in a nice sunny area where they could, get the energy from the sun, of course. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you need access to water, but you want that soil and you want some drainage. Make sure all of your pots have some type of drainage at the bottom. Once I put the soil in my pots, I always fill it up fill it with water to make sure I can see that it's draining properly, or it has some drainage. Because if your pots and stuff don't have no drainage, that's another issue you're gonna see down the line with your plants, that you just didn't have the proper drainage that it needed to grow.
Right. And there are a lot of places that are, if you are going to grow and from seedlings, you're not growing from seed. There are a lot of places that have a lot of sales on seedlings. So you definitely want to go and get you some seedlings you can grow. I have this barrel here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty large. They also have these barrels on sale. Now they don't have the holes they go all the way through, but they do have the markers where you can drill the holes. So it's pretty large, and it was only $10. So if you want to get something like this and put, like, you can grow navy beans, for instance. If you want to grow navy beans in all of this one, in this one, and then go out and get another one where you can grow all of your herbs. There are certain herbs that can be grown together. You can grow it in here. So you can have themes. If you want to do salads, you can do salads at some point in this. So I thought it was a pretty cool addition to add to a garden.
Yes, and up in the on the East Coast too, I have ran into them pots. They buy one get one free, so it's
Yes,
still $10.
absolutely. Yes, yes,
So
yes. $20. Buy one, get one free. Home Depot and also Aldi's has them for $10 each, which is still that same buy one, get one free. But as you can see, they're very, very large. And guess what? If nothing else, you can mix your soil in here. So for your compost, if you go and you get the raised bed soil, or you get the potting soil and you put it in here, and at some point you want to put mix it with cow manure, you can do all your mixing right in here, and then hold all that soil right there until you're ready to use it.
exactly, and make sure y'all put the drill them holes, and if you're
Yes,
going to use it for that. But like you said, I've been using that or a wheelbarrow. And
yes.
another thing I want to remind people that they can do at Home Depot and Lowe's. I went there and I took a letter and I said, "Would you be willing to help with the garden and donate some things?" And then he told me, "Okay." He took the letter. Go to Chat GPT, y'all. Get the letter, print it out, take it. You never know. I got a wheelbarrow. These wheelbarrows expensive.
Right.
And he gave me some really nice long pots, plant raised beds that for people don't want to bend all the way down sometime. So yeah, ask the nurseries, ask Home Depot, ask Lowe's to give you some donations. Caucasian people do it all the time.
All the time. I
And I
agree.
didn't put an EIN number in it. I did when I was working at another company. But for myself, I said, let me just try this. Then I came back the next week. I said, I gave you a letter. I didn't hear back from you. And you told me that, you would check it out. And yeah, I got me some good donations from Home Depot and Lowe's. You could do the same thing. And again, these nurseries and places that we support, go ahead, sisters, or brothers, we don't want any excuses why we not trying to grow our own food, Sister Rashida, because right now they
Right.
talking about we not sure what's going to happen in the next 6 months. We
Absolutely.
want to store up some food. We want to grow some of our own food, and we want to get the children involved.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you were talking, it made me think about the raised beds, Aldi's, which one of the sisters here turned me on to Aldi's, because I didn't know that Aldi's, sell even gardening items, but the raised beds, they sell those little smaller raised beds for people who just don't want to be overwhelmed. Smaller raised beds, and I think we paid $25. I think we got two of them. But I think it was like $25. So listen, no excuse, no excuse, no excuse. So for all the sisters that are in the chat and you living here, when I see you, I'm gonna ask you what you're growing. Every time I see you, what you growing? What are you growing? That's what I want to know. And so, Sister Melody, we're gonna jump to the pictures. Are you ready?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right. So you take it from here.
Okay, so that picture there, if you can look in the very middle of that picture, that is asparagus. And at the top of the picture, you can see that I'm doing that. I started that indoors. And asparagus can grow up to 20 years if it's taken care of properly. And
Wow.
asparagus have many, many, many health benefits. So that's something that you want to have if you have space for it. You want to have things that's going to come back and year after year if it's properly. So that's the one that I did a few weeks ago, and you can see it started. It's not gonna produce for me really to eat it for the next year or two, but I got another picture where I showed you that when I had planted this other one, I didn't even realize it had grown, and it was it has grown. So I'll show you another one of the pictures.
So let's see the next picture.
See right there go asparagus. So that's an old one like that I did 2 years ago. So I took and transplanted that with the new one, and I have more. So I'm gonna have about, I want to say 8 asparagus plants, and I spent less than $20, sis, for that.
Well,
so again,
and I don't even have experience with asparagus, but did I hear you say that it comes back year after year?
Yes, it's a perennial. Yes, strawberries, you got different blueberries. These are the kind of things that I'm focusing on now, sis, more than before, especially, with times being, hard for some of us. I want to do and have things that at least the perennials that I know, going to give me, some yield year after year.
Yes, and that's a very good point. Our food system, don't look at it as like just planting. This is an actual food system, and you want to plant things that are going to sustain us. Things like squash, if you eat corn, things like corn, because you got to think about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So your corns and your squashes are things like your carbohydrates. Your proteins would be your navy beans, your lentil beans, and then your fats would be things like an avocado. So that's what you want to think about when you're feeding your family. You want to think about a food system. It's good to plant lettuce and it's good to plant spinach, but you'd have to eat a lot of that to sustain yourself and your family. So when you're looking at your food system. You want to look at things like the corn, the squash, the beans, a navy bean, lentil beans, and then of course your fats with your avocados, and of course your fruits if you want to have some apples and pears and plums. But that's the thinking. You want to expand your thinking and think of a food system that's going to sustain you and your family. And Sister Melody and I are talking about these perennials and preparation and things that can come back. But you also want to, sisters, we're taught to can. Those who are sisters in here, we're taught to can. So you
That's right.
definitely want to make sure you're canning your navy beans. And for those who were with us last week, the brother was telling us how to get our navy beans started, where we put the navy beans in the water and let them soak overnight and then put them in the ground. And so there's a sister in here, Sister Valerie. She sent me a picture of her little navy bean that had sprouted, and she said last week that she never even had success with sprouting the navy beans. So when she took his advice, it sprouted. So I was very, very excited. Yes, I was very excited for her. And so I ended up putting mine in water and then forgot about them. So I just started some more. So I'm excited as well to put mine in the ground soon, and I'll keep you all posted.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna try that as well. Sis, the some of the things though that I want to do, again, hoping that it could come back every year, because I'm thinking how many, well, I don't know, but as soon as you grow them navy beans, I just want to see, how, I know they come in them pods, like, and then each bean falls out, because I had cleaned some for somebody before the beans, but that's our most popular bean, right?
it is absolutely. You definitely
Our
want to put
staple
that
product.
in your garden as a staple food. Absolutely. And so for those, all you do, you can go, if you don't have any navy beans, just go to the store and grab some navy beans off the shelf. And I'm soaking in some water 24 hours. And after that, put it in some good soil. And we will all pray for each other that our navy beans produce, our navy bean plants produce. But what
Yeah.
is our next picture?
Okay. So that's my little grandson there. And I'm telling you, I want to encourage people to get these youth outside early. Like he
Right.
has on gloves. I had him picking the twigs. I told him that's his job. You're gonna
Yes.
get out there and help me. I need help. So now if you instill it in them early, sis,
Mm-hmm.
then hopefully they'll realize they are a part of what is going on, what we're doing. And we want them to be, of course, in tune with nature, because nature is good for your mental health. And as we can see, so many people now are suffering from mental health conditions. And it's almost like growing your food should be just part of your life, period,
I
whether you
agree.
like it or not.
I agree. Look, and once you get started, and again, you see that new growth, it'll definitely change your life. And I was sharing with you behind the scenes, and I'll share it with those who are joining us, that we have a sister here, and she was so excited to tell me that she's growing bell pepper for the first time. And so she said she named the bell pepper. And so I asked her, I think she has like 4 or 5, but I can remember the first 2 names because it was so obvious. So I said, well, what did you name each, little bell pepper? And she said, I named one bell and I named one pepper. I thought that was hilarious. But listen, I was just so excited that she was growing. I was so excited.
Oh yeah, and she's having fun.
She's having fun.
Come on, you talk to these plants because they are living thing. I mean,
Yes.
you got to talk and encourage, people to, when they see the life and they eat it and they feel the life in their body.
Right.
I mean, it's just a good feeling to know that you grew it and it's
It is.
something that you cooked and helpfully ate and your family enjoyed
And
it.
what's so funny about it is when you said that, it reminded me, she did say that she has the plant at school, and there's a lady that comes in and talks to the plant all the time. So that's exciting because the students get to see it growing as well.
Yes, yes. I mean, with mental health, what better person to talk to than to your plants, you know?
Absolutely.
And to
Absolutely.
God, of course. But come on, talk to these
Absolutely.
plants and get to know them, and get excited with them, because I'm telling you, times is hard. And
Absolutely.
hopefully more and more people will just, for before Mother's Day, after we do a show, either right after Mother's Day, I'm hoping people could come on and show us their plants that they purchased.
I know that would be
Yeah,
so
planted.
awesome. And speaking to your plant, everything is vibration. That's what we're taught. Everything's vibration. So when we're vibrating and we're talking to our plants, they're responding. They're going to radiate and they're going to produce food that comes back to us that ends up helping us all the more. So, yes, talk to your plants, those who are watching us. So, our next picture.
Oh, so I have fun with my little pots and stuff like
Right.
that. So it's, of course, it got drainage at the bottom, but you go to the dollar store and buy this paint, and for $1, and $1.25, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, have fun with it, dude. This is something you could do with the children and stuff like that, because to me, yeah, a lot of us like, I want to say, aesthetics and make things look nice. So that's just a sample of a pot that I did. And the next picture maybe is the one my aunt did. So she's a professional. So look
Oh,
at
look at
that.
that.
She put the shoes on, the dress on. She did, and that's like from last year. So I gotta like kind of refreshing the face up. I did the face, but my aunt did everything else. So I'm telling you, it's so much to do out in the garden. And people, again, Sister Rashida, I want them to realize, when you purchase flowers, and especially like Mother's Day and stuff like that, these flowers come from all over the world. And at
Right.
the end of the day, they have been sprayed. So be
Right.
careful. Don't put them flowers by your food. Don't put them flowers in your bathtub. Don't put them flowers close to your face, because
Right.
again, if you haven't grown them yourself, you don't know where these plants came from, these flowers. And they're beautiful, of course, and we love them. But come on, sisters and brothers, let's grow some flowers.
Yes, ma'am. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that because yes, we get roses all the time, and your inclination is to smell them. But yeah, you do. You really want to be careful.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, yes, ma'am. Because again, you don't know, they have to spray them with something that's keeping them looking pretty for you to buy them. So just think
Right.
over that. They not just, because when you take a plant or a flower out of the ground, if you don't hurry up and put it back in some water, then it's gonna droop. So if
Right.
you're not getting droopy flower, somebody done sprayed a lot of stuff on it, and they probably came from, we don't know where, because now we don't know where our stuff coming from.
This is very true. This is very, very true. All the more to even grow your own plants.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And
And at
little
some
girls,
point, yeah, and at some point we are going to talk about because I know I've been asked to speak on this on our show, but we will be talking about plants that you can grow in your home that's going to purify the air. So that's going to be an upcoming show. And then we'll talk about also propagation because that's another request that's been had. So Sister Melody and I will put together that information and make sure that we share it with everyone because it's been a huge request, especially the air purifying plants.
yes, ma'am.
So, Sister Melody, do you have anything else?
Okay, I didn't know if you had any pictures that you wanted to share, but I just wanted to again encourage people to go out and don't spend a whole lot of money,
Right,
because again, sister, now is the time where you know us on this show and people that we should be sharing plants with each other,
right,
because it's not too expensive to go out here and buy seeds, but you don't know
hmm
what you're getting nowadays. But again,
right,
they can reach out to us, Sister Rashida. I have plenty of seeds. I
right,
do.
right. And one of the things I was just told that we do have questions, so let's go ahead and go to our questions and see the questions.
Yes.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nakisha. Walaikum salam. Is post best for compost best for flowers? How do you keep bugs away? Ooh, big one. Bug, bug, bug.
Okay. So
Because
her question is about compost, correct?
right, for flowers.
So,
Right.
sister, when it comes to composting,
Mm-hmm.
good bugs are going to be in your compost.
Mm-hmm.
So these bugs and worms and stuff going to be doing their thing to break down the soil, break down the I don't know, onions, peelings, scraps that you have from, just peppers, onions, no spices, no mayonnaises, no chicken, like
Right.
none of that kind of stuff goes in your compost. So usually my compost doesn't have any rodents around besides maybe a rabbit or two sometime come through because I might have some fresh carrots that I had shredded and they might be a little hungry. But
Mhm.
usually whenever I have compost outside, I make sure that I cover it with leaves or grass and things like that. But the other thing, and wet it, you got to keep it wet. But
Mhm.
compost is like, that's the year method of breaking down. So it takes a year for that type of compost to break down. So if you're using compost for anything, make sure that again, it's loose, that you may have sifted it, because a lot of times when we start planting at a bigger garden, what we do is we get this mushroom compost, and the mushroom compost is already fine, but it's not
Mhm.
all the way fine. It's still a little heavy. So depending sis where you getting your compost from, because again, I don't know if it's because again, compost could be 2 months compost where you can't use it right away, or it could be a year compost, and that's the one that we usually get from some of our gardens, or we might get it from a nursery or something like that.
Right.
When we started our first hoop house, we had found a landfill that did compost. They did leaves and they did grass, and that was their compost. So
Mhm.
the food bring the nutrients into it too. So
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's a very good question, Nikisha. Thank you for that.
yeah.
Sister Nikisha, thank you for that. And also, when you were talking about that, yes, one of the other sisters here was sharing with me that she had a banana plant that wasn't doing well in the grow bag. So she moved it to a actual pot and she added some nutrients. And one of the nutrients she added was the shells, eggshells. And so she ground up the eggshells and mixed that in there. And she said to her surprise, that thing took off. She showed me a picture of it and she was excited. I was excited. You would think we were looking at a whole tree when I think it must have been about this big. But
Wow.
we were so excited to see that growth start.
Well, I'm happy that again, this is experimentation. That's what we're
Absolutely.
doing. We all
We're
scientists,
scientists.
and we all.
Absolutely.
We had another question.
Do we have another question?
Okay, I didn't know.
Okay, yeah, I saw that pop up.
But yeah, either way, sis, again, it's nothing wrong with failure when it comes, not even
Right.
failure. I don't want to call it failure. You just have to think of something that you may have done different, that you could do different. Let me say that. And
Right.
then again, making sure that that soil is not compacted, making sure you in a sunny area at least 6 hours, making sure your pot has holes at the bottom, some type of drainage. And I believe we're gonna have more success this year, sister, than we had last year with just more and more people getting involved. I
I
really.
agree. I agree. And I the sister that I'm talking about, she's in the chat, Sister Latricia. So thank you
Okay.
so much, Sister Latricia, for joining us. And sister, listen, I wanted everybody to shout out what they're growing, but listen, we're at 6:30 already. So
Oh.
listen, I know,
Mhm.
right? Everyone who is in this chat, you come back next week and be prepared to shout out in the chat what you're growing. We're going to highlight you and shout you out, okay? So
Yes.
thank you all so much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sis.